Now, because this airbrush seems to really like thin paint, I'm going to thin this down considerably. I won't be doing the 50-50 thing, but you know, this looks an awful lot like the paint we used yesterday, except that this is an acrylic and yesterday's was an enamel. I'm guessing that's probably three parts of thinner to 10 parts of paint. I'm guessing it might be a little bit more diluted than that. Okay, I'm gonna take it back and I'm gonna shake it again. Now we don't need very much here. We used it all up. Okay, I'm gonna clean the airbrush and do a color change, and yeah, I'm pretty sure I put it on thick enough here to completely cover the primer. I can tell if I hold it just right to the light, it's still a little bit glossy. That means it's still wet. Yeah, we'll give it about half an hour at least. And I guess you picked up on the idea that this is so that I can look at it under the microscope, just for my own personal interest. Now I don't need to be sticking this on very hard, just enough to keep the spray off. Alright, now we'll paint the new color right here. Yeah, it's sort of another metallic type of paint, isn't it? Well, we'll soon know. I realize you didn't see me doing it, but I put about 3 drops of thinner into the cup here just now. Some people say this is not a good idea. I guess it would really be not a good idea if I was to get my little jars mixed up. Okay, we'll clean that up. Let this dry, and we'll have a close look. I did not know what to think here. One minute I was thinking the 16, the next minute I was thinking the 32, and then, round and round and back and forth and back and forth. One thing I knew for sure was it wasn't going to be the enamel we tried out yesterday. Then I thought to check Stefan's book here, and I think I've got it figured out. Well, for a while there, I was leaning towards the X32. But now that I've checked the reference book here, and it's very clearly a reflective type of paint, and I can see where people would say it's sort of silver. I'm thinking of going with the XF16. It's sort of a flat paint. The F stands for flat. It's not going to reflect as bad, and yet it's light like this. I'm thinking that this is just too dark. Only the sides are going to be painted. Like, I'm not going to be painting down inside there. As you can see, it's all dark. It's black. So I'm going to have to try and carefully mask this top off without damaging the spider. Yeah. And that is going to be hard. Okay. Well, I'll think about it while I'm masking this off. And just quickly here's one more drawing. Yesterday I was reading a comment that I got on a video that goes way back. I think it was around episode number 8. And the viewer was saying something to the effect of, don't you realize that when you're shooting at f22, like, you'll notice here, I'm shooting at f22, 30th of a second, f22, and right now the ISO is on auto, and it's opened itself or sped itself up to 640 ISO. Now, I should mention that right now my lens is pinpoint focused right on the center of the spider, and I can do that with this camera. I can zoom in on it on a small area and pinpoint focus on it, and that's what I've done. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show what happens when I go from f22 down to f4. This lens will only open up till f4. It's not what's known as a fast lens. It's a sharp lens. It's a good lens, but it's not a fast lens. f4 is not considered fast. However, it works out good for me. I do have a fast lens. If I want to do a lot of low light shooting, I have a lens that goes down to f1.4, and you can get them faster than that if you want to, but you know why. Anyway, here we go. I'm gonna open the lens up to f4, and I want you to notice what's going to happen here to the foreground and the background. Maybe out the window. Here we go. Okay, right now we're opened up to f4. Now, to compensate for the fact that it won't go any lower than 64 ISO, I'm going to speed the shutter up just a little bit. Okay, we're shooting at 125th of a second right now. And those of you who are thinking, well, how could that be? This is a video. Well, each frame is taken at 125th of a second. That's the way it works. And I can't go slower than 30 because we're shooting at 30 frames a second. Anyway, you'll notice the house out the window, it's blurry, and the funnel on the manual, it's blurry. And this right now might be slightly sharper than it was before, but you're not going to notice the difference. And at the end of this little scene here, I'm going to toggle back and forth between F4 and F22, and you'll notice that this piece doesn't really change. Yes, it'll be minutely sharper if I have the lens open up, but I prefer everything sharp. I'm going to go back to, F22. Okay, I didn't bother to slow the shutter down. We've sped up to 2500 ISO, but you're going to notice that it's still going to be very acceptable. This particular sensor does extremely well on high ISO. I'm always amazed at how well it does. So anyway, yeah, I just thought I'd mention that, because if that viewer mentioned it to me, in all likelihood, other people were thinking, why does Ron shoot at f/22? Doesn't he know that his lens is a little sharper when it's opened up a little bit more? Yeah, well, I know that, but I also know that for me this works better, and I think the overall picture is better. Anyway, we've wasted enough time here. Let's get back to trying to get some masking tape on this thing. You're going to notice here, as I toggle back and forth from one to the other, how the background and the foreground dramatically change. However, the spider isn't changing. Maybe slightly, but as I said, you're not going to notice it. To me, it's not worth it. I like it sharp all over the place. Unless I was outside taking a picture of a flower, then I might want a bit of bokeh going on and have the background, a couple of 100 yards away, blurry. Yeah, something like that. It does look better. But in a case like this, here at the model table, I want everything as sharp as possible. Now that's just my opinion, and I could be wrong. This will only have been interesting to you if you're a camera buff. The rest of you're probably just shaking your heads and saying, who cares? Now I was going to take some double-sided tape here and put it on this thing here, which is what I normally stick my tape on. I'm not going to use my frog tape because I do not want this piece to suddenly get loose and get blown off and go flying across my paint booth and damage the spider. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this tape, and I've got an idea so that I can, well, I think I'm just going to show you what I'm going to do. Okay, I don't think that'll get blown off by the airbrush. And the idea is now I can handle it and turn it, and also when I'm sticking the masking tape on, it's sort of held into place here. Yeah, I hope this is going to work out. Now the idea is I want to try and get this masking tape as high as possible, so that I don't have to do too much touch-up with it, with a little brush later. Oh, this is not going well. No, telemarketing. Well, that was a pleasant surprise. It wasn't telemarketing. There might be a better way to do this. I guess I'm going to have a lot of touch-up to do. I think I should be able to paint with the brush, like where the masking tape is there. I should be able to paint okay. It'll be a lot easier than trying to paint down in here with a brush. I'm wondering if possibly I'm going about this backwards. Should I maybe be just painting the whole thing with the silver gray and then masking off the outside and repainting the inside with the black? And that way there's less of a chance of me damaging the spider when I try to fold this over. There's probably a better way, but I just can't think of it right now. I just want to see how much easier it would be to mask the other way. Oh yeah, that'd be a lot easier. Okay, that's the way we're going to go. Going to spray the entire outside with the silver, and any overspray that goes on the inside, well, we'll look after that later. The airbrush did not throw any curveballs my way this time. I didn't have to do any fiddling around to keep it going. It just worked perfect the whole time. At least I think it did. Maybe I'm just too inexperienced to know that it caused me trouble and I just didn't know it. But I think I'm kind of getting onto it. Anyway, time is marching on here. I guess we're going to have to wait until the next episode to see if we have to give it another coat or not. So, thanks for watching, and all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.